When the 8th night came, the sea lay still beneath a pale moon, and the palace lanterns trembled like stars upon the waves. Scheherazade bowed before King Shahryar and said, "O King of Time!" When the fisherman finished the tale of the enchanted prince, the Jinni said, "You have spoken truth, O mortal. Tell me another story, that I may know the secret ways of men." And the fisherman replied, "Gladly, O spirit of flame. Listen now to the tale of the king and his faithful falcon. Beside a bright southern sea stood a kingdom, crowned with white stone and coral walls. Its ruler, King Basim, was strong in battle and fair in rule, yet quick to anger, for pride slept lightly in his heart. Among all the treasures of his palace, pearls, horses, spices, and gold, he loved above all a falcon of noble breed. Together they hunted the cliffs at dawn, when gulls wheeled through crimson light, and the surf sang beneath their flight. The king's voice would soften when he spoke of the bird. A sword may break, a crown may fall, but a falcon's trust endures. Morning after morning they rode, and the people of the coast would watch them vanish where the sky met the sea. They said the falcon's wings carried good fortune over the kingdom, and that as long as it flew, peace would rest upon their shores. One spring day, the king rode out before sunrise, seeking the hush that only the sea can give. Mist clung to the cliffs. The wind smelled of salt and wild thyme. He rode far from his guards until the world was nothing but stone, sky, and water. The sun rose, fierce and golden, and thirst began to burn within him. At last he came upon a trickle of water, seeping from a rock. Each drop shone clear as glass before falling into a hollow stone. He drew a golden cup from his saddle and caught the falling water. "Praise be to the Most High," said the king. But before he could drink, the falcon swooped down and struck the cup from his hand. The water spilled upon the sand. The king frowned. "What folly is this, my loyal one?" He refilled the cup. Again the bird dove, fierce and swift, knocking it away. The cup shattered, and anger rose like a flame through his veins. "By my crown," he cried, "a servant who forgets his master's favor shall taste his wrath." He filled the cup once more, his hand trembling with rage. Again the falcon flew, crying sharply, wings flashing in the light. The king struck out, his dagger grazing the bird's wing. It fell to the earth, blood bright against the dust. The king stood over it, panting. He turned back to the spring and froze. Upon the ledge above the dripping water lay a black serpent, its fangs glistening, its venom falling drop by drop into the pool below. The truth struck him like lightning over the sea. The falcon had not defied him. It had saved him. He dropped his dagger, sank to his knees, and gathered the dying bird in his hands. "Forgive me, my faithful friend," he whispered. "In my anger, I struck the truest heart that ever guarded mine." The falcon blinked once, as if in pardon, and was still. The sea wind swept across the cliffs, carrying one final feather into the sky. The king buried it beside the sea, where the waves would sing above its rest. He covered the grave with white stones and carved upon them, "He who is ruled by wrath shall slay his own heart before his enemies can reach it." That night, he returned to his palace and ordered a fountain built upon the falcon's grave. When the masons struck their first blows, clear water burst from the sand, flowing pure and bright. The king wept, for he believed the heavens themselves mourned the bird's loyalty. From that day forward, he rode no more to hunt. When anger stirred within him, he would walk alone to the fountain's edge and watch the water rise like wings. And the sea wind would whisper, "Be still." The people called it the Fountain of the Falcon, and travelers came from distant lands to drink and remember that mercy is greater than wrath. And when storms raged against the coast, the king would stand at his window, watching lightning flare across the sea, and whisper, "Not all storms come from the sky. Some are born in the heart." The fisherman turned to the Jinni and said, "Thus, O spirit of flame, the king of the coast learned that anger blinds the wise." The Jinni bowed. "Even fire must learn patience, lest it consume all it loves." The fisherman smiled. "Then sleep, O Jinni, and rise tomorrow to hear yet another tale." Scheherazade's voice softened like the tide retreating from the shore. The air of the sea palace trembled with jasmine and lamplight. King Shahryar gazed through the open arches toward the moonlit horizon, where the waves glimmered like beaten silver. "You speak of wrath, Scheherazade," he murmured, "and I see in that ruler by the sea the shadow of my own deeds." She bowed her head. "Then may the falcon's grave remind your majesty that mercy rules longer than anger, and wisdom outlives pride. And tomorrow, O king, you shall hear the tale of the husband and the parrot." For a long while neither spoke. Only the sea answered, its rhythm ancient as time. The king watched the tide glitter beneath the moon, and something within him softened like the night itself. The candles burned low, and the sea whispered beyond the palace walls. Thus ended the 8th night.